5. Antonio, second. How about roll call? 01,
Present.
02,
Here.
03,
Present.
04. Here. 05 is me, I'm here. Antonio, not here. Commissioner Alfredo Judd, not here yet. Okay.
So as we know, we always record the meeting. We don't have any mics tonight, so if everyone can speak up so the camera can hear you, okay?
Okey doke. If everyone would take a quick look at the agenda and make sure that there's everything on it that's supposed to be on it. I will make one change. The number 13, which is the short presentation by Holland and Knight on Source and Quarter, will be moved to, where's their other? Which is their other?
Which is another one. Okay, there's other items?
Zoning.
The
Okay.
other information items.
Okay, they're here with Peoples, right?
Mm-hmm.
Donahoe is, Sean, whatever his name is? Shane.
Shane's here.
You're doing both presentations?
Just
No.
people.
Just the Peoples one, okay. Well, it'll say it is before they come in. Is there someone here from Holland and Knight representing?
Yeah, we're here, and it's a separate project, the one that Shane's.
Okay, so it doesn't matter actually where you are on the
We're
agenda.
fine with
Thank you very much, I appreciate that. Okay, can I have an approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Second,
A second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Everybody's had a chance to look at minutes?
I move that we approve the minutes of the July NC16 meeting with any corrections submitted to the.
Thank you very much. Second,
A second.
all,
Yes, I got
approved?
Aye.
PSA reports. Do we have any of our boys in blue here? Well, girls, yeah. Nobody? Wow. Whoa, okay. We'll put that on hold, and if they come in, we'll get to them.
Madam Chair, I'm here with a number of my neighbors to hear the report from the police department, and I'm hoping that they're en route here. I think it's inexcusable that they're not here now, given what's been going on in our neighborhood over the last several months.
I agree. Is the office of the mayor here? So there's some other people coming in to discuss that later on in the agenda. So, beside the police department, so I'm surprised they're not here either. So we'll see what happens. I will make a note of that, Abraham. Okay, Rochelle.
Okay, so this piece on the agenda is kind of a part 2 for something that we discussed in July concerning the Ridge Street project by the Muni Reddick. It's an 8-unit project that's literally in the middle of the block. The concern was last time was for zoning relief for parking, whether there be restrictions or no restrictions. So when the hearing took place at the end of July, the chair of the BZA said that he would like another study done to include Tuesday and Saturday. The study that was done, that was presented to both the commission and to the BZA, was done on a Thursday, and that was a street sweeping day. So if anyone's familiar with street sweeping, it's not an accurate study of parking because half the street is empty. So their parking engineer that was an expert, that was his study day, and it's completely not accurate. So moving forward, there is going to be another hearing September 29th. The commission won't meet till after that. They're doing a new parking study that I said will be a Tuesday and a Saturday. So that said, what I'm asking for the commission is that we do basically an addendum to the original letter. The original letter was in support of relief without restriction. But since we have not seen this new parking study and it has not been done yet, we can't we can't basically have an opinion. So what I'm asking is that we have a neutral opinion, that we not render an opinion for the new study. So we can't be.
Until we get it.
Well, it'll be over by the time we get it. So we're gonna get 22nd. If we get the 22nd of September, she has the new hearing on the 29th. We won't meet till October. So the new study for us will be moot by that point. The BZA will already render their decision. So our original letter is in full support, correct?
Yes.
Okay, there's a completely new parking study that could alter their decision. So what I'm asking for is that, what the BZA suggested I do is that you do an addendum to the original letter, and you say whatever, I would say that we can't have an opinion that it'd be neutral because we clearly have not seen the study.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Yeah,
So I know that the chair has a copy of an email from Clifford Moy, who is the secretary to the Board of Zoning Adjustment, from this afternoon. Chip Blasco, who was counsel for the applicant, requested a clarification as to the status of the record in this particular case. So this email indicates, in reference to your request at the public hearing on July the 29th, 2015, the board completed public testimony and closed the record. In addition, the board requested supplemental information from the applicant in the form of an updated parking study, including an analysis to be conducted on Tuesday and Saturday. The deadline for submission is by September 22nd, 2015. Please note also that the board at its public decision meeting on September 29th may reopen the record to ask specific questions of the applicant regarding the study. Thanks, Clifford Moore, again, Secretary of the Board of Zoning Adjustment. So there is no public hearing on the 29th. It is set for decision with any questions from the Board of Zoning Adjustment to the team that created the parking study. So there is no further correspondence from this commission that will be entertained by the Board of Zoning Adjustment.
Okay, that is not true, because I've talked to Clifford Moy. He left me a message this afternoon, and he said you do just an addendum to the original letter. The original letter still stands, right? That's not going to be taken away. It's not pulled, but certainly he understands that, you don't have to vote for it, Alex. I'm just putting the motion out there. So, all it is, it's not like a yes or no, is that we have no opinion because we have not seen that future study, nor has anyone, and that future study could have an impact on the BZA's opinion. So we can't, our old letter does not even go with the new study, clearly.
okay.
So I don't see whether, there's nothing wrong with the neutral.
You've made your motion. Do I have a
Can you,
second?
can you say that
So let me say the
again?
motion. So I motion that ANC 6E write an addendum piece, or whatever you want to call it that, to the BZA stating that we cannot render an opinion because we have not seen the new study.
I second that.
Okay. Any further discussion? Oh, all in favor, I'm sorry. Further discussion, anybody? Everybody said their say? Let's vote. All in favor of Michelle's motion? Please think of the word. Please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Nay. So it's 1, 2, 3. It's a tie.
There you go.
So it's a neutral.
See, it was harmless, Alex. No big deal.
Okay, my favorite presenters are here tonight. This is in my single-member district. This is for the People's Corporation. Some information that they need to address us with regards to the hotel at the corner of 5th and 9th. Mr. Dunham.
Perfect. It's my name's Don Peebles. I'm a representative of the People's Corporation and also Marge's favorite presenter. For those of you all who have heard this spiel before, please make sure to laugh at all the jokes at the right time and don't give away the punchline at the end. That said, I've brought with us a pretty incredible team. We've got Siddhi Abdul Rahman, Durwood Dixon, and Josh Dyer from WDG. They're our lead architect. We have Erwin Andres from Grove Slade. They're our traffic consultant, and of course Shane Detman from Holland and Knight, our urban planning aficionado. So with that, we'll hope to answer all of your questions and give you all a wonderful project update. Now, again, we're here not only to give you a project update, but also to earn the ANC support for HPRB and BZA approval. We'll go in front of HPRB on the 24th of September, and we'll see BZA on the 10th of November. Now, the project was awarded to us in May of 2013. By the end of 2014, we'd successfully negotiated our term sheets, negotiated the full long-form LDDA, and passed through DC City Council. Since then, we've gone through conceptual design, and we'll ideally be moving forward through schematic once we hear comments from BZA, HPRB, and then of course the ANC. This project to us is a real opportunity to add some cultural vibrancy to the neighborhood. We really want to activate the streetscape and create a destination both for out-of-towners and hotel guests, but also for local residents. And so we had that in mind as we got down to the programming details. And so we've got 175 key hotel, 48,000 square feet of branded residences on top of that. And then on the ground floor, we've got a bar and restaurant and a coffee shop. And then the coffee shop, in essence, functions as a place where hotel guests, Fifth and I residents, and neighborhood folks can go to meet one another. On the rooftop, we've got a bar and hopefully a swimming pool. And below grade, we've got meeting space, a columnless ballroom, and of course parking. The parking is actually reasonably unique. We'll be having an elevator system take cars up and down from the parking garage, and it will be managed by a professional parking team, which is something that we've stole from some of the buildings in New York City that have some of the most heavily trafficked areas in the country. They park thousands and thousands of cars a day, and we say, why not take that system and bring it over to DC? To come up with this program, not only have Marge and I spoken so much that she can probably give this presentation better than I can, but we've also spoke to Teus Austin, who's here, Michelle Martin, who I haven't seen, but I imagine is here as well. We've gone in front of the ANC zoning subcommittee, where we got approval for the recommendation for BZA and for HPRB. So we've done our homework, and ideally, as City goes through her presentation, it's something that you guys are excited about as we are. So with that said, I'd love to pass it over to the WDG team and see where we end up.
Thank you. My name is
Oh, yes, sure.
my name is Siti Abdurrahman with WDG Architecture. This is our partner Dawood and Josh Dyer, who's going to be working out the project out.
Okay.
You're gonna have to speak way louder, because
I know.
people won't be able to hear you. I'm so sorry we don't have a mic.
Okay. As you can see on the slide, if you can focus on the slide here, this is the site, the location of the site here. We have Massachusetts Avenue, New York Avenue, near the Convention Center. It's very close to the New City Center. There's 5th Street here on the west, and then I Street on the south. And there's a lot of, there's a new residential building that's coming over here. So, and the next few slides is just showing the context of the neighborhood. You can see a very good mix of residential and office building, interesting use of material. This is a really awesome building, glass box for office building. So this is going to be a very interesting neighborhood, and this hotel is going to be, next one, it's going to be located right here. It's across Million Park actually. So let me go through a quick programming aspect of the building. On the ground floor here, we're going to have the public area for the building. We're going to have the entrance to the residential lobby, entrance to the hotel, and also the restaurant bar. And then we have 7 levels of hotel guest floor, which is about 175 keys, and then 48 units of residential on these 4 floors. And then below grade, we have about a public function area for the hotel, which is a ballroom, a fitness and spa area, and then the parking garage is below here. Thanks. And I'm going to go quickly on the plan of the building. This is 5th Street to get you oriented. 5th Street, and then this is I Street. And you can see we have a restaurant here facing I Street across the park, and then the hotel lobby with the entrance at the corner, and the residential lobby here. So all this street frontage is going to be activated with public areas, so it's going to be really vibrant, and you're going to have really cool stuff. You can see cool hotel interiors from the street as you walk up and down the street. Next. And then the next one is just a typical floor for the hotel floors. We have about 26 keys per floors, which is 175 total, and this is a typical floor for the residential, which is about 12, so roughly about 48 total on this 4 level. And this is the rooftop that we are still working on trying to program this space here. We're probably going to accommodate some linear pole here also, and some outdoor roof terrace, so public can come up to the lobby, up to this area, and have a outdoor eating area similar to W, perhaps, the W Hotel. And the next slide will be showing the ballroom below grade, which is about 5,500 square feet. It's actually a very small meeting room that's going to be divided up into 3 equal spaces, and then a summer meeting room over here, a pre-function area, some condo amenity, maybe they have their social room or public area for them, and then mostly back of house area to operate and run the hotel. And this is the mezzanine level, which is going to have about 2,000 square feet of spa area and a fitness for the hotel, and also public can come over here and actually being served at the spa, and the admin office for the hotel, and also the back of house area. And this is the typical floor for the parking garage level, which is roughly, since we have the school system, we can accommodate about 88 spaces, and it's a very small footprint. And this is actually the exterior design of the facade. 5th and I is a very important intersection in this neighborhood. So we try to design something that's vibrant and dynamic to celebrate the corner, this intersection. So if you see at the base of the building here, there is a very well-defined base, and this is where we're gonna have all the public area for the hotel, residential, and the restaurant. And we have large glass area that allow you to go see in and out to activate the street frontage, and also to enhance the pedestrian experience. So it's going to be really interesting to walk here. And then we also layer a horizontal awning that goes up and down around the building, and then each entrance we're going to have a canopy that extends out. So it's engaged with pedestrian, it brings the scale down to more human scale. And then as it goes up here, this is the hotel floor. You can see what we did. We create an alternating rhythm on the building. We play with the window, we play with the metal panel, and also limestone. So this adds a real richness to the composition of the building. And what we do, as you can see, is a clear demarcation between the base, the hotel function, and the residential. As you go up, the 4 floors of the residential are well defined. It's more glass here, and then we also integrate balconies on it, and then the limestone from below here go engage up to this level. We have created some really playful pattern. So even though the function are defined differently on every level, but we still manage to somewhat weave this building together by using the same principle from the base of the building to the top, and also by the consistent use of the richness of the material, as you can see. So at the end of the day, this building is going to really add an interesting dynamic, and also going to be a very handsome addition to the neighborhood. And this is the view of the building, as you can see from 5th Street. You can see the entrance to the residential lobby over here, and that's the entrance to the hotel lobby over there. And then the next few slides is just a straight-on elevation as you look on straight onto the building. Oh no, sorry, this is actually the enlarged pedestrian experience. This is on 5th Street on the bottom, and then I Street on top. So as you can see, this is the hotel entrance with the canopy popping up. And then this is the next one, just elevation straight on as you look on I Street at the storefront, and then the building composition and the residential floor. And then this is the elevation as you look on 5th Street. And this is the alley elevation, where you have the loading access, the entrance to the parking garage, and this is the residential floor where you have a different articulation on top. And this is the last slide showing just the site where the new residential building is going to be abutted. I think Equity Realty owns it, so I think it's already start construction. So this is what you're going to see. So that's the end of my presentation. I think I'm going to pass it to Donahue and Shane.
Perfect. Again, as you can see, we've spent a lot of time and taken a lot of the community needs into consideration. Really did our best to implement them both in the exterior and interior space. There are, however, several variances and easements that we'll be going for in front of the council. Mr. Detman, if you could please take us through a couple of those.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the Commission. What I can do tonight is just give you a quick run-through of the areas of zoning relief that we'll be requesting from the Board of Zoning Adjustment.
Do you mind standing to look, because not in front of the camera?
Sure.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks.
And what I can do is I can move fairly quickly because I know you have a long agenda. If you have questions, feel free to interrupt me. We're asking for a special exception for roof structures. The zoning regulations require you to have one uniform roof structure all in one enclosure. We have two. We have the main penthouse. We also have a standalone egress stair that's on the east side of the building that we're asking for a special exception for. We also have non-compliant setbacks along the back side of the building, and so we are meeting the one-to-one penthouse setbacks from the sides of the building that face public streets. But in order to minimize the views of the penthouse from the public streets, we had to push the penthouse back to the back side of the building. It also makes for an efficient layout in terms of the rooms and the hotel rooms in the buildings to allow double-loaded corridors. So we're asking for a special exception there. The third area of roof structure relief that we're asking for is actually in anticipation for the possible implementation or the effective date of the proposed penthouse regulations. Under the proposed penthouse regulations that are due for final consideration by the Zoning Commission on October 19th, a special exception will be required in order to put a restaurant or some kind of cocktail lounge on the roof. And so in advance of the effective date of those regulations, hopefully they'll be in effect by the time we reach our October 27th BZA hearing. We're asking for that special exception. With regard to the area variances that we're requesting, there are 4 of them. One is for rear yard. For this building, 5th Street is considered the front of the building, and so the east property line is considered the rear of the building. And the rear yard requirement is 15 feet. Because of some of the exceptional conditions that are on the site related to the shape of the property, the size, the configuration of the building, the limited alley access, we're unable to provide a rear yard without causing practical difficulties to the design of the building. It also avoids having a 15-foot gap in the street wall along I Street. We're asking for a small area variance for closed court that's on the north side of the building where there's this kind of odd little flag or sort of fin of the property line that's surrounded by the adjacent property line. It creates a very, very small closed court on the north side adjacent to the parking lift area right there. And the client or the developer could extend the building into that area in order to get rid of the closed court. It wouldn't serve any purpose, just for purposes of getting rid of this small area of relief. There are 2 parking-related area variances being requested. One is for the minimum amount of parking based on the building program. Approximately 125 parking spaces are required. What's being provided on one level of parking is 86 spaces. And then finally, the parking access. The zoning regulations require you to provide an all-weather ramp into the parking garage. Again, given the size of the site, its narrowness, and the configuration of the building, we're unable to provide a ramp that can provide access down into that one level of parking. And so we're proposing a dual lift system that will allow cars to go down through valet service and parked at the one level of parking. That's a summary of the areas of relief we're requesting. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
This is in my single-member district, and at committee the other night, the committee voted to support both the historic and the zoning variances and relief. Does anyone have any questions on it? I can vote, please. Or I make a motion that we support.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I was actually, well, I'm trying to understand, I mean, I'm personally opposed to the parking relief. And I know that we just had a very contentious discussion with the Ridge Street where the developer only asked, I guess, for, they ultimately need to provide 4, and there was a lot of back and forth, and, you know, I guess it was allowed. But in this case, you're asking for a total of 40, and I understand, you know, there's a whole thing of lot has to be unique, which, I mean, I guess you're arguing that it is. I would say it's not. And the practical difficulty, if you just dedicate 2 levels underground to parking, you can easily meet that. But it seems like if you go back to your slide, can you see where you have levels? It seems like you're prioritizing what you want to do over what you're required to provide. Because if you don't have the ballroom, you know, you can dedicate 2 levels to parking, and then you can easily provide the required. Yet, is that are you making it, with the practical difficulty, is that a financial? Because as far as construction, there is.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
In fact, the practical difficulties are neither financial nor construction, but rather conflicting policies at the district and at the ANC level. So because this is a public-private land disposition, in order to be awarded the project, we have to be complicit with district regulations and district policy goals. Some of the district policy goals, specifically for this project, is minimum parking. So if you go back and you take a look at the RFEI, it stipulates that part of the performance criteria for the developer is to provide very, very little parking and encourage folks to take public transportation and the various different nodes that surround the project. So from our perspective, that seemed like two conflicting policies, which it is. And so what we endeavored to do was, one, satisfy the district's goal with minimum parking, but two, to provide some parking, and so that the project, we believe, can be more amenable to the neighborhood. It's a balancing act between the two levels of district government. And so we've really done our best, and we think we've come to a solution that's in the best interest of both parties. It's impossible to make both groups happy there.
I guess my question, if you were to provide the required parking, if you were to dedicate second level underground to parking, which DC agency would object to you doing that?
The Deputy Mayor of Planning and Economic Development, who issued the RFEI.
So like, what's your name? Steingasser or whatever her name was?
No, it's a
Jen.
Brian Kemp.
Brian Kemp.
I just find that it's kind of strange. I mean, we put this developer to the ringer for building 8 houses, and I almost feel bad for them because they literally could not provide parking. They will landlock everything here. You can trivially do parking just by not having the meeting room.
You're absolutely right. Sure, please.
If I can just
I mean, I
add,
live across the street, I probably, I support the decreased parking, there is no public parking in our part of the neighborhood, so it's different than the stuff that is north of us across New York. So as a hotel facility, we also live we have the Hampton Inn on the other side, and they have limited parking. It's not an issue for us, for the hotel guests to not, most of them don't come with cars. I'd rather they not be driving around our neighborhood, to be honest, and not expect to show up with cars. And we need ballroom facilities and those large meeting spaces to make this project work. So,
Who's you?
well, I mean, I would say the city does, but I literally live across the street from this particular building. So having more cars on the road actually for us would be difficult.
Well, no, more cars on the road is because there's no parking in the building.
No, but that's not gonna be public parking for the public, that's gonna be hotel parking and condo parking, so as long as it takes care of those two things, I mean, I think that.
And there will be parking available when, for example, extra 50, 60 spots that will be available when the ballrooms are not in use. So there will be extra parking that will not be used every day for ballroom, and so it will be used for regular retail and restaurant and other kinds of parking. So we as a committee and I and the community have supported the number of spaces that the corporation is putting in. Okay.
Can I just make a comment?
Yep.
So I was the holdout on the committee regarding the parking. Again, I've been an advocate for maximizing parking. Every development that has happened in the Shaw portion of our jurisdiction over the years. So I had actually asked that our motions actually at the committee level be split, so that one was for historic preservation and one was for zoning, because I could not support the reduction in the number of parking spaces. So I'll ask the chair to once again make 2 separate motions, one for historic preservation approval and the other for zoning.
Okay.
Marge, make it clear so I understand completely what we're voting on, a little bit.
Okay, so we are voting on the 6 or 7 items that the gentleman presented, which include roof structure being moved, non-compliant setback, roof structure on the roof, also for the historic, 15 feet variance for a closed court, parking for, instead of for 125, it's parking for 86.
So that's no.
Yeah, I'm just giving you all of them so that you hear them all. And access for the lift system, rather than having a ramp that you have to drive in, you drive in parking. So, Let's start first with those things that are for historic. I'm making a motion that we support the variances requested by People's Corporation for the historic preservation. Anyone second?
Seconded with a friendly amendment that we clarify that we're supporting the proposed design for the building for historic preservation.
Okay.
That's second.
Okay. Any other conversation? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. The second is for the zoning relief. And I make a motion that we support People's Corporation with zoning relief for all the other things that they listed on. You want me to go through them?
Yes, put it on record.
Yes.
Madam Chair, sorry to interrupt. All of the zoning relief is actually associated with the BZA case. For the HPRB, we're here just to present the project to you to get your support on the proposed design and for a favorable recommendation to the HPRB.
Okay, we did that. We voted to support
Right,
that.
there's no zoning relief associated with the HPRB application. It's all the zoning relief is for the BZA.
Okay, but Alex, you want to help me out?
Yeah, no. The only thing that you said was wrong was when you said the words historic preservation in your current motion. If you have your current motion and say directing our communications to the Board of Zoning Adjustment, then you're fine.
Okay. So I'm making a motion to support the People's Corporation for historical.
No.
Nope.
The zoning relief required in order to construct the building.
Building, okay. And that's what we just voted on, correct?
No, you haven't voted.
This, I'm lost myself. So we did pass for the design of the building.
Correct.
That is supported.
Historic preservation.
Okay. So the motion that I'm making now is to support the other items.
The zoning relief,
The zoning
and
relief.
we communicate that to the BZA.
Okay. The zoning relief, and we would report that to BZA.
Can I ask one question?
No, not at this point, sorry. Second.